Hey, self-defense events happen in seconds. Seconds. And in the time it takes to listen to this commercial, your life could change forever. I pray you're never forced to shoot in self-defense, but if you must, then you must be ready. That's why the USCCA exists, because every responsible armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more about the USCCA, visit uscca.com/GOR. Act now, because the life you save could be your own. uscca.com/GOR. Hey, Jeff, fun last night?
I didn't
Did you get hammered?
I didn't do anything. I was pretty lame.
What?
Happy New Year, though.
You didn't get hammered?
No.
Did you get hammered?
No.
We're pretty lame.
Did anybody get hammered?
No.
I didn't get hammered.
Matt, did you get hammered? No.
I had a boring group.
What did you do?
I was in bed
Yeah.
because I went to the auto show and I did, Friday I did 9 segments. Saturday I did 10.
Wow.
And today I did 9.
What do you mean segments? Like you interview
KUSI.
people with oh, okay. Oh, wow. What, did they pre-record them?
Live, my friend.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you were live from the
From the auto show.
I didn't really watch KUSI over the weekend,
I see
so
that all
sorry about that.
Never talk to you again.
I know.
Did you get
That's cool,
Did
man.
you get your coach?
Not yet.
Did you go down and look at it?
Not yet. Working on
You were
it.
going to do it last week.
I'm working on it.
Oh, your Jeep's not running again?
No, the Jeep's running like a top. I don't even know what to do.
By the way, you should have never said that.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do.
It's
Everything works in my Jeep right now.
Blinkers?
Blinkers work.
Wow.
Yeah,
I replaced the blinker fluid. And
That's
boom,
what
it
did
works like
I
a.
told you to put the blinker.
By the way, Dave,
What?
Friday I went and you're going to get a kick out of this story.
I'm sure I will. All your stories are good.
Friday I'm at the range. I'm not going to tell you what range. And I met this guy. I'm not going to tell you his name. He introduced himself. And he goes, "Hey, man." He said, "You know how Dave's always giving you a hard time about spaghetti?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I walked into Janet's not long ago, and guess who was there eating spaghetti for breakfast?"
Who?
You.
I was not.
That's what he said.
He's full of it. You know. Look, my stomach, you have breakfast,
Yeah.
you have lunch, and you have dinner. I came real close when I was at Izzy's by having a BLT at 11:30,
Wow.
and it was a pull.
I wonder what he was talking about. I swear.
I would never. I can't
Hash
even
browns with a lot of ketchup?
I can't
Oh,
even
maybe
eat
it was-
cold pizza. I can't even eat cold
Alicia,
pizza.
that's actually really, that's a very intelligent. Yeah.
The closest I can think.
No.
You should have seen it. It was like
He's
it was
pulling your leg.
pulling my leg. It was like he was.
Was he giggling when he said it?
No. Oh no. No. It was very serious. It was like I was like a cop, you know, and he's like, "Look, man, I got some inside info.
I got some
Yeah.
inside. Well, he
Something
was
you gotta
looking at the
know.
wrong guy because I guarantee.
I'm taking his word.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would.
Do they? I don't even. Do they have spaghetti? Honestly, I was a little surprised. I don't even remember that they have spaghetti at Janet's.
No.
Wonder what he's talking about. I'm
Odd
going back
deal.
to that range.
You better go back and shoot him.
I was getting qualled. I had to re-up my CCW.
Oh.
Alicia, what was that look?
Oh, you're reminding me.
Yeah.
I expired.
Oh, there you go.
soon.
Okay, I thought you were.
Yours?
No, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do mine too.
Joe Germisi did mine. Thank you, Joe. He did an excellent job. I did my 4-hour renew. He made me. I think he made me shoot more than
See? From
Most.
Michelle. Never
what?
would I eat spaghetti in the morning.
Michelle said that.
She would.
I would.
I know.
I have.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Did you eat spaghetti in the morning?
I probably would.
But have you?
Not. I don't think I have.
Oh, but you
I'm not
probably-
necessarily opposed. I've just never had.
So
the
your
opportunity.
stomach isn't sectioned out?
I don't discriminate.
I do.
No.
I don't
I do.
discriminate.
It's terrible.
No.
Honestly, I think a lot of Italian food is actually really good the next day, cold for breakfast. Lasagna, pasta, pizza,
A
Cold-
calzone?
calzone. Oh, my god, I
gosh,
would totally eat a
no, I can't do it.
dude. I would eat, like cold pizza the next day. Oh my god, that's good, so good.
No.
Yeah,
It's greasy, it's thick, and it's cold.
Nah,
Depends on where
well,
it's from.
yeah.
Well, because I've been busting my butt. I haven't eaten. So today I made him a meatloaf sandwich
Oh.
that it was in the fridge,
Oh.
and I couldn't eat it till the second hour, so it would chill out or get room temperature.
Well, if the I'm not gonna tell the name, but I gotta go back to the guy, my source.
You go back to your
I
source.
gotta go back to my
And you
source.
say, you owe me a box of ammo. He'll say, why? Because Stahl says you're full of you know what.
Well, honestly, I almost went to Janet's. I'm like, they have spaghetti?
No, and you're not going to drive that far anyway.
Well,
Or where are you living now?
I actually just divulged which range I was at because I was already out there. I was at Lemon Grove Running Gun Club, which is out in Alpine.
That's Alpine.
So I was already there. I'm like, well, hell, I'm already
That's
out
not
here.
Lemon Grove. That's Alpine.
Well, it's you know why it's called Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club?
For their P.O. box.
Huh?
Their P.O. box.
It's
their business address.
Right.
It was
That's what I heard.
What happened was it was a bunch of vets after World War II, and they opened up Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club in Lemon Grove, and it was really only out there for like 3 years. I want to say it was like 47 to 50, and then in 50 or somewhere around there, they bought this chunk of land that happened to be in Alpine. So their headquarters was in Lemon Grove, but their facility was in Alpine. But then they just moved the whole thing.
Gotcha.
So, but they've planted a bunch of lemon trees out there, and they still have their monthly meeting in Lemon Grove in honor of, and they never changed the name. But it was really only in Lemon Grove for, I want to say, like 3 years. Somebody email me and correct me or whatever,
Yeah.
text us.
You'll
correct
win
me.
something.
But I'm pretty sure it was 47 to 50 was in Lemon Grove, and then they got the facility in Alpine, but that's why it's called Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club.
Whatever
It's
happened to
actually
Covert Canyon?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, that's a nice facility.
It is. Of course, Mark passed away.
No, I know.
And
He didn't leave it to you?
didn't leave it to me. No. I don't know. I think it's got new owners, and I think people are still using it.
Oh, they do?
Alicia, have you been up there?
They have it has new owners from the East Coast.
From the East
And
Coast?
Yes, and they had a purpose intended for it. It did not work out, and so there's
Just sitting there.
word that they are trying to offload it. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That could be your base
I
camp.
don't. They apparently they didn't realize the road was as unfriendly as it is.
They what?
The road needs to be fixed. The road is unfriendly.
No, they told me it's no problem. You could drive a car up there.
No.
Well, I've seen cars go up there.
Yeah, well, I almost killed my Toyota truck going up there.
No.
It takes about 2 hours. Your Toyota truck can make it?
Well, it made it, but I didn't like it making it. Oh, by the way, because I know you, it blew up
What?
my Toyota.
What do you
truck.
mean?
The motor let go after 338,000 miles. It still ran, but Dave says it's.
Blame it on me?
Yeah, so
That's
I'm
hurtful.
getting the engine rebuilt.
That's hurtful. I saw you're driving a Silverado out there.
Diesel.
Silverado.
Diesel 3.0,
Yeah.
33 miles per gallon.
Let me ask you something, because I'm about to buy a diesel.
Yes, you are.
What is it a problem? You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it's just expensive.
it's more expensive than regular gas?
Oh, it's six something a gallon.
I didn't think it was that much. Okay, so it's a little more money.
Yeah,
What, like $1 a gallon more?
yeah.
I
I don't know if you have to use blue DEF.
Yes. Otherwise, you go into, they call it
If you
limp
want,
mode.
There's a case of it in the back
I'm like,
of mine.
geez,
Don't
that's
want that now.
horrible.
Hey,
Yeah, I
there's a
don't want-
case in the back of the Chevy, the back seat if you want it.
All right, maybe I'll squirt some DEF off you.
Well, you're going to need it.
Can you find it? I've been looking around
find
for the
what?
last couple of weeks, and it seems to be easy to find.
DEF or diesel?
Diesel.
Oh, a piece of cake.
It's easy, right?
Every Chevron station.
Should anybody? So that goes back. That's one of the reasons
But you know what this says? It says on there, this is, Chevron.
Chevron.
I was thinking E85, but it's not a Chevron product. It's
Yeah.
But no, just, any Chevron station.
It's easy, right?
Hey, if you have legal matters that involve firearms, then you need to call California firearms lawyer John Dillon. If you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you need to know that your guns are California compliant, call our trusted firearms attorney John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-7150, and you can visit his website at DillonLawGP.com. So the guy that was on the show,
Yeah.
my gun show before our motorsport show.
Yeah.
He's from New York.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So I says, I got to go do my gun show. Gun show? You do a gun show? I said, well, yeah, you guys are pretty cool with guns in New York. He goes, New York? Are you kidding me?
I'm outside of Manhattan.
He's
I'm tuning
in.
outside of Buffalo and Manhattan, New York is pretty cool with guns. But we actually have a listener in Missouri.
I know. I can't believe our signal went that far.
Isn't that cool? So signal.
That's a lot of coffee cans.
So we got a cool. I'm gonna read this email. Read
right
this
ahead.
email. All right, and I thought it was really cool. It goes. So I now have been listening to the show for around a month. I listen daily and truly enjoy your show. When I was in the military and stationed in California, I was a member of SDCGO. Thank you for your support, my friend. I have to say, Action Jackson is my favorite. The way he says the answer just brings a smile to my face. When I'm listening and he's not on, I'm like, dang.
I told you.
Wait, let me try that one again. When I'm listening and he's not on, I'm like, dang. In times like today, just something so small to bring a smile to someone's face is worth it. Is worth it all. His sunglasses review had me laughing, but was one I actually listened to because it kept making me laugh. That's awesome. I now live in Missouri, a much more free state. Thank God. I'm one of the most pro 2A. I work at a gun store, and I say it all the time how much I love it. I don't love it just because I like guns or get to see them all and touch them first and go through 50-plus guns and not have to feel like I'm bugging somebody. That is a good reason to work at a gun store.
Yeah, sure is.
Get to put your fingerprints all over everything. Okay, maybe that's part of it, but I absolutely love the fact I know every time I get to say you're good to go after the background check comes back and they're taking that new firearm home, I've just empowered them to be able to protect themselves. Oh, that's awesome.
So you got to send that to Action Jackson.
I did. They saw it. And then he goes on, says a couple other things. I had to finally send you all an email and let you know how much I enjoy the show. I'm always down to talk more. I hope you have a great and safe holiday. Nathan, thank you, Nathan, for listening. That's an awesome email. We sent it to Action Jackson and his crew.
Yeah. And I'm sure he said
they loved it.
Well, of course.
Action Jackson's not
of course.
Action Jackson's not here today because it's his mom's birthday.
Happy to celebrate.
Yes, happy birthday, Kelly.
Kelly, 21 years old. Congratulations.
I hope that the gang, the entourage, is spoiling the heck out of you. And happy birthday! And hope to see you guys next week. And I'm just so glad that we connected. It's been just over a year since we found little Action Jackson. And
where did you find him?
He was on the side of the road offering to wash my windshields for $2.
He's too short. He
could wash. That's why I was like,
nuts.
look, we got to get you out of here.
He could wash your lug nuts. That's about the best he could do.
Let's put you on the radio.
He couldn't even get to the windshield.
I'll tell you what happened. Brittany from the Glock store, because he used to train at the Glock store.
Oh, that's right. She turned you on.
Yeah, Brittany said, I remember she told me, she said, hey, there's this, you told me all about him. You know, there's this, I think he was eight-year-old kid. He comes and practices. We're going to have him at the Glock store table at Gun Prom. And this was October, 2021 Gun Prom. And she said, is it okay if, can we meet? I was like, yeah, sure. Totally forgot. Then she came up and told me about it at the dinner. And she said, hey, is it okay? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Went over and talked to the kid and just fell in love. Yeah. Just absolutely fell in love.
That's the son you never had.
He gave me a sticker. You know how he gives everybody the
sticker.
And
you put it on your phone, if I'm not mistaken.
I had it on my phone, and I said, "Hey, do you want to go up on stage?" And he looked at me, and I was like, "Okay, that's too much."
No,
that's
he
too
did
much.
not. He looked at his mother first.
Big saucer eyes, and I'm like, "Okay, that's too much." Okay. So I dropped him off a bunch of stuff at Glock store because I just thought he was a cool little kid. He would just really enjoyed meeting
cool little
him.
dude.
Shirts, hats, whatever. And said, hey, make sure when next time he's in to, give him. And his mom and dad sent me a text and just said, hey, just wanted to say thanks. And I said, I don't have a plan, but I'd love to have him come on the radio show. I don't know what we're going to do with him. I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know if he's going to even like it. And he came on the show, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I was over at 511 Friday.
Down in, Mission Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm checking out. It says, now do I get the Action Jackson discount? And he went, oh, Action Jackson? I go, well, yeah. Don't you listen to our show?
No.
See, you used to advertise with us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he says, yeah, we'll hook you up.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, says, how do you find clothes to fit this kid? Because everything he buys, but everything fits him.
Yeah, well, he's growing up too.
Must be, yeah.
His latest picture, kid looks like he's a teenager already.
Yeah, he's working on it. Take his hat off.
Yeah. He shoots. He races cars. He
He
does mixed martial arts.
Did you do mixed martial
Yeah,
arts?
with Smashley, the
Yeah.
MMA.
No kidding.
Yeah. This kid's cooler, and he's cooler at 10 than I think I will ever. I think he's 9. He's cooler at 9 than I think
he's
I will
9.
ever be.
Yeah.
He's as cool at 9 as I hoped to be when I was an adult.
Yeah. And he's still cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's hilarious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He did some stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I was there.
He does it here too. Oh, he's got jokes.
So Dave, how long? So it's a new year.
Uh-huh.
First off, any resolutions? Got any resolutions?
No,
No?
not really. Just keep fighting the fight. I mean, it's almost like it's not necessarily a resolution. It's something you do every day.
Yeah.
Second Amendment, fight.
There you go.
Try to convince the community, to pay attention. Don't just sit there and complain. Do something.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Jump in.
And
Get off the wall. It's not a spectator sport.
You know me. I talk to everybody and anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk about the show. I talk all, especially this show, because people are just, if they don't get their head out of their other
Who's
end,
what's it?
they're gonna end up turning around and saying, "Gee, what happened?"
Yeah.
And once you say, "Gee, what happened?" it's too late.
Yep.
They've got you. They've taken over. They've controlled you. They've got you doing things that you don't necessarily want to do.
There you go.
So and the only way that happens is you got to get involved. San Diego County gun owners. It doesn't make a difference which group, Orange County, Inland Empire,
Yep.
Riverside. It doesn't make any difference, but you can't complain without getting involved.
That's right. Doesn't do any good. Complain doesn't do
what
any
is
good.
your New Year's resolution? Because you had a big change for 2013.
Well, 2013. I
mean 2023.
I'm gonna first resolution. I'm gonna buy a calendar.
You never had one?
No. 2023 is I don't know if it's a resolution, but it's there's a lot of changes. We're gonna there's some staff coming on. We're looking at opening up LA County. We're rolling out our 501c3, our Not Me California 501c3. So there are a lot of balls in the air that I got to keep spinning, and the balls,
a lot of plates.
The plates are even bigger than they ever were. So
that's what keeps you rolling.
Oh yeah. So I gotta get that. My resolution is to make all that work. There's no excuse. There's no apology. There's
nothing holding
gee golly
you back.
gosh. It has to work.
There's
Period.
nothing holding you back.
There's
nothing.
Everything's holding me back, and I have to just
you got
beat
it.
it.
That's what I said. There's
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
holding you back. It's your choice.
Everything's trying to hold.
What about
me.
you,
That's what I'm
Alisha?
saying. Yeah. What's your New Year's resolution?
Probably she's going to get my cousin's gun back.
Yeah. No, I've got it.
What?
So, I work. So what I do day in, day out, I work with people. So it's the same for me. It's not really a resolution. It's just to continue to work with people and to do the best that I can for them and to inspire and to
That
teach
was a
them.
nice post the other day on social media.
I'm going to read that. I want to read that in the next segment.
Oh, you're going to read that?
Yeah, I'm gonna read
thought
that.
I was reading all the things today.
I'm reading.
Yeah, but
everything.
no, that should have made you feel good.
Yeah.
Not that
it
you
did.
were looking for it. But
It was, it was, yeah,
it's what
I mean,
you do.
right. It is, and it's not the first time I've gotten that. So and I appreciate that.
And you almost have to say how much you appreciate it because you do it. That's what you do.
Mhm.
I mean, so it's not like I'm doing it for accolades.
Right.
I'm doing it because that's what I do.
Right.
That's cool.
Can I read it? I'm going to read it now. I was
All
going
right.
to read it
You
later.
got it?
Can you get it out in 4 minutes?
I can get it out in 4 minutes. Not
You
a problem.
messed up the other one.
I did not.
You had to reread
Okay,
it.
my name is, I'm not going to give their name. And I believe I witnessed your instruction of a student a month or so ago at this one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
A month or so ago at the Morena store. That's Discount Gun Mart. I'm going out on a limb here because the instructor was female, and you only have one female, and you're the only female name on the list. Through my Peltors.
See, I told you you'd mess it up.
I didn't mess it up yet. Peltors are. Do you know what Peltors are?
Electronic.
No, they're electronic ear protection.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening in, and I was really impressed with your instruction style. My wife and her two good friends have finally come around to wanting to learn to shoot. I want them to learn from you. If I buy them gift certificates, how do I specify they work with you? Please feel free to call with any questions or comments. And then the guy gave his name. That is an email that Alisha received from someone that overheard you as an instructor for Discount Gun Mart.
Best form of a compliment when somebody else hears what you're doing and then compliments.
Right.
Because it's not very few people do that. And same thing with your other friend. Very few people go out of their way to either write a post about something good that they've heard.
Yeah, mostly go out of their way for negative.
Yeah,
very much. So.
Yeah.
It must be. I mean, it's enormously rewarding, though. Isn't it? Working with people.
It is, and I've found because I aim myself to get out there and to train as often as I can. So I try at least once a quarter to work with somebody, and even if it's content that I already know, it's still good to be exposed to it. I hear it from somebody else's perspective. Sometimes I learn different terminology that can reach somebody different because I work with all different types of people coming from all different places in life. So I work with some real jerks, and I see it and I hear it from people that come to work with me that thank me.
You work with some real jerks, like they're instructors?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great ones. I worked with some wonderful guys and girls, but I've also had some that were not so pleasant that I wouldn't go back to.
What's the key to being a good instructor?
Not being a jerk. Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserving and restoring Orange County self-defense rights. And if you live in Orange County and you want to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, you need to join OCGunowners.com/join. Orange County Gun Owners is more than supporting the lawsuits of the Second Amendment. They have developed an effective infrastructure that focuses on local outreach and activism. Volunteer at a shooting social, at a gun store and tabletop, and help more pro-gun local officials get elected. Become a member today, OCGunowners.com/join.
So our New Year's Day show, Alisha, so right before we went to the break, we asked you, what's the key to being a good instructor?
From the student's perspective, I think it's just being patient.
Yeah.
There's you have to have a keen, fast eye. So from my perspective, there's a huge safety concern. A lot of people come with a false sense of thinking they know more than they do, and can be a little unsafe. So I gotta, but I start everybody off in the classroom and I give them a foundation so that when we get on the range, I'm pretty confident they're going to do well and we are able to fine tune things. But I'm patient and I listen. And
well, you don't have two students alike, so you have to adjust accordingly.
No, I do. I adapt. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
I mean, you got people that learn quick, you got people that not, and you got people with bad habits, and you got people that never even seen a gun. Then you got the people that are scared shitless, and then you got the people that think they know it all.
Yeah.
And I think I think for whether it's guns, cars, boats, I don't care what you're training, it's all depends on how well you can adapt to your. Because if you're the type of an instructor that it's your way or the highway, then you're going to not make a lot of money.
I've worked with some of those.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
We definitely, I think we definitely have the ability, we being the gun owning community, we love making mountains out of molehills, and it's like, I don't know. I know I get frustrated with instructors who don't really have a curriculum. And I get frustrated with instructors who it's my way or the highway.
Right.
There's got to be like this comfortable, like, look, I teach it this way, others teach it the other way. They might, they're not necessarily right or wrong. It's just, you know what I mean? There's a comfortable meeting that I think.
But you see the ones that do it right raised to the top. I mean, we talk to instructors all the time on this show.
Yeah.
But we don't talk to every instructor on this show.
I got to tell you, I was talking to somebody over the weekend. San Diego, if you're looking to use a gun, if you're looking to learn how to use a gun, San Diego has some of the best. We have a cornucopia of instructors, a plethora of instructors from, people that have, high-level military backgrounds, people that are civilian, people that I mean, you name it, man. I would put our pool of instructors up against many, many, many other places that I think people would, are more pro gun friendly, I should say. And I think what happens in a lot of these gun friendly states is they're kind of complacent, and they've, well, my grandpappy taught me, so I don't need to take formal instruction. And they don't have, and we have a wide variety of really great. I mean, Alisha is a great instructor. There's a ton of really great instructors.
But I think a good piece of advice is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or tell me if you've run into this, if you get an instructor that you're not comfortable with, you can walk away.
Has that ever happened? Alicia, have you ever
Not to her
No, I know.
I've never had anybody walk away.
Not a walk away from you. No, that's not
But
what
you know what I'm
Alicia,
saying?
has anybody ever hated you so much they walked away? No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm saying is, have you ever been with an instructor and thought
that
I don't
you
even
wanted to
be
walk
here?
away?
Yes.
And did you?
No.
You
Yeah.
figured I'll just suck it up,
Yeah.
It's tough.
see what I can get out of him, and maybe what I don't like, I can use that as a tool
Right.
not to do and might with me.
Right.
But I'm just saying, not as an instructor, but if let's say I've never shot a gun before in my life,
Mhm.
and if I get, because I think a lot of people get intimidated once you sign up with an instructor, you're stuck with them. And I
Mhm.
think you should know that you have the right
Oh, yeah, you have options.
to
Absolutely.
walk away. Well, I don't think a lot of people know
Mm-hmm.
that, because how many people have you
It's
talked to
intimidating.
that went and had an instructor they didn't like, but yet they went through the whole course and then they told you they didn't like him?
I do. I have a lot that come to me after.
So then what
I
did you
get
go,
it.
it's almost like, well, then what did you go there for?
Triage.
The after action. I get the reports.
So-
Yeah, right.
You know, I think they feel they pay their money. They may not realize that, you know, and different instructors have different policies. I don't know if there's refunds or, you know, I don't know. And I'm sure they don't know either. Because
You give refunds?
No.
Give them a dirty look, and they leave fast.
And a hug.
Well, as long as you're
I
giving
mean, you've
them a
never
hug.
had to. You
I've
don't,
never
you
had
don't
to.
know if you give refunds because you've never.
You know, if someone were to complain, I'm sure management would handle that and would take care of it.
Why would you ask that, Dave?
because somebody had to ask it,
It's like
and
asking,
you're not going to ask it.
it's like asking a doctor, any of your patients ever died? They ever died?
He said, "Oh yeah, do you want to see my
I
portfolio?"
know. Here, let me introduce you to one.
He's right
His
here under the
his wall.
table.
So let's talk a little bit about the show. You know, it's
What show?
how, Gun Owners Radio. End
Oh,
of
yeah.
the year.
What?
What was your favorite moment from last year?
Oh my God, you're going to make me go there.
Yeah. What was your favorite moment? Do you have one? A lot of changes since last year on the show.
I have to tell you, the one that I got the biggest kick out of was you destroying Hemmerling. I got to tell, and mic drops.
Yeah.
I think the mic drops were daring. They were bold. It caused you not to get invited to too many places.
Yeah.
But because you were straightforward, honest, you done your homework. It was like 2 pages long. I'm sure it took forever to put them together. But I loved your mic drops and what you did to Hemmerling. There was one other guy you caught all of us totally off guard, and you chewed him up one side. And I can't think of who that was.
That might have been a couple years ago. That was another
Yeah.
guy that was running for
Yeah.
city council.
God,
I
I
don't
was
remember his
blown
name
away.
either.
Because, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to be, positive. And, if he disagrees, no.
I will. Have
Have you gotten wiser as you've gotten older?
No, not at all. I will honestly, sincerely say that the Hemmerling thing is one of San Diego County Gun Owners' greatest accomplishments. I don't think people fully understand that. I don't think people fully understand. We were designed to find people like Hemmerling and keep them out of office. We were designed to do the real work, not just, oh, he's a Republican? Okay, cool. No. That's not,
I ran into those guys that said,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, well, Hemmerling, he's a Republican.
He's a Republican.
I
Well,
said,
that's completely
what
meaningless.
does that mean?
In fact, if anything, you should be harder on him, which we were.
Oh, yeah.
And finding out exactly how he truly felt about Second Amendment issues, which were atrocious. I mean, the way he felt about the use of government force in general was atrocious.
So what is he doing now?
Who cares?
No, I know. I'm just curious.
And it doesn't matter because we kept him out of office,
Yeah.
and that's
So,
I don't know what he's doing.
I'll be out of work.
Probably complaining about San Diego County gun owners, but we kept him out of office. We got somebody in office who's good. Now we're going to keep her, hold her feet to the fire. But the important thing here is, we found somebody who was lying to us about the Second Amendment, and we had a meaningful effect, a real, true, meaningful effect
I
on
think we had a lot to do with him not making it.
Yeah, well, I pointed out that one statistic that 90,000 people who voted for the Republican governor voted for the Democrat for sheriff. It was like 92,000 people, something like that. At least. Could have been more, but that was the delta. So we absolutely had an effect, and we kept him out of office, and we're the only ones that said, hey, you know what, this guy. So that was an important moment.
I think it was. I thought it was too.
Everything worked the way it should work. San Diego County gun owners did their job. Gun owners radio, we did our job, and everything worked. And it was. I'm really proud of the organization. I'm proud of the work that we did. I'm proud of the fact that we didn't just,
and it's funny because I'm sure you did the same thing I did, because I would, defend our position. And if I told him, I said, you know where he stands on red flag laws? And every single one that I talked to about it said, no, what? I go, what do you mean, no, what?
I know. How do you miss that?
How did you? I mean, that's probably one of the most important parts of the campaign, and you just glossed over it.
So in New York, last week, there was a decision about their red flag laws. Now let me talk about it. So red flag laws. That's
to explain.
That's the label that they talk about. It's basically if someone's not breaking the law, and there's reason for concern, it's supposed to give law enforcement the ability to step in and stop somebody from committing a heinous crime. That's the concept. The only type of red flag law that I've seen are these gun violence restraining orders, where someone's not breaking the law, someone accuses them of being dangerous, and boom, they come in and take their guns and then, go to court. So gun violence restraining orders. So what happened was one of the anti-gun think tanks said they thought this thing up, these gun violence restraining orders, and now they're spreading them from state to state. Okay. So all of them very much look alike. A gun violence restraining order in California looks very much like one in New York. New York, a judge struck down their gun violence restraining order, said, no way, these are unconstitutional. And if you read his decision, it was like he was listening to gun owners radio. I mean, it's everything that's bad about these gun violence restraining orders.
Right.
He confirmed. We've been talking about it and saying, hey, this is what's wrong. But he put a little bit of an interesting spin on it. He said, look, I'm, of course, paraphrasing. With Bruin.
He didn't say, hey, look.
I don't remember. I don't know if he actually wrote, hey, look. That might just be me. The Second Amendment is not a secondary right. It's not a second-class right. It's a right.
Right.
And with other rights, for example, like if you are put into like a mental institution, then they're taking away freedom. They're taking away your rights and freedom. And in order to do something so serious, they have to get experts, to get in front of a judge, and there's a decision made. Now look at this right, the right to keep and bear arms. Just about anybody can accuse you, and then they take your rights away. And then if you choose to, you can go to, through due process. You can go through to court. And you can, he basically said this. It's the total opposite. It's the total opposite. That if truly, like the Supreme Court has decided 3 times now, that it's not some second-class right, then we have to treat it just like we treat other rights. So they came out and basically said, hey, gun violence restraining orders, now this is New York. It's a lower court. It's not their Supreme Court. It's not, Superior Court. But it is an important decision, and I believe it's the way of the future as far as how they're going to strike these gun violence restraining orders down. We were cutting edge, and that's exactly why we were so against Hemmerling, and I'm so happy that we accomplished that.
Yeah, I'm on the right page too. Hey, did you know we have a world-class flight training school right here in San Diego? Pilots can fly almost every day, and we're close to the ocean, the desert, the mountains. It's beautiful.
Oh,
that's why San Diego is one of the best places to learn to fly. So you can still learn to fly in sunny San Diego right at Montgomery Field. Sounds like a weather report. Getting started is easy. All you have to do is call them at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with STFTI, or call today at 858-569-1822.
all right. So what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about
not my foot injury.
No, not your foot injury. How's that doing, by the way?
It's fine. I didn't go see a doctor.
I knew you would. You just complain.
I don't go see doctors.
You just complain.
Last time I went and saw a doctor,
yeah,
he just sucked blood from my neck.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you right now, never go see Dr. Acula ever.
I wouldn't either. And well, Alisha recommended him. It wasn't me. So no, we were talking off air that I had caught wind that DeSantis is going to I think there's a name for it.
Constitutional carry.
And I thought it was up to 23, but you say it's 26, and he'll be 27.
There's 25. He'll be 26. Florida will be 26, I believe. Is that right, Alisha? Am I right on that?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
But you still, but the way it was presented, it's almost like you don't have to get training. But you do.
Constitutional carry. If you can legally own the gun,
but you have to pass background.
No.
You don't even have to pass a background.
If you can legally carry the gun. If you can legally own the gun, you can carry. Okay, so
how does that work?
The purest form of constitutional carry. I can't vouch for all 25 states and exactly what they do.
Right.
But constitutional carry in its purest form is this: if you can legally own the gun, then you can carry it concealed or not concealed. You can carry it open or you can carry it concealed.
Who determines if you're qualified?
There's if you can legally own the gun.
Yeah, but who qualifies that you can legally own it?
Well, okay. So if you go buy a gun, you still have to go through a background check.
That's what I said.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So that's you made it sound like if you just bought a gun, but who's going to sell you a gun without going through a background check?
You can buy it. In many states, you can purchase a firearm from an individual.
Okay, I got you.
Without going through a background check, but you still have to be able to legally own the gun.
Right.
That doesn't disqualify. It doesn't mean criminals can purchase guns legally. It means that if you're selling a gun and you don't know this person, you better go through a background check.
Right. To protect yourself, if nothing else.
Because now if you sell a gun to somebody who legally can't own it, then you're committing a crime.
Right.
So if you live in another state and you're doing a private party transfer and it doesn't require a background check, you still go through a background check if you're selling it to a stranger.
Smart.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be a criminal.
Right. So we're up to
25.
Getting close to 50.
Is that right, Alisha?
I just looked it up, and I'm counting 24.
That's
24?
What I thought, too. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I
Maybe
thought.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm wrong.
And very rare.
In any case, somewhere near half the states in the union
that's got to make the left
are constitutional carry. Well, I don't know about the left. I think it makes it makes Republicans nervous too, because there's a lot of idiots in the Republican Party.
You think?
But it makes what it makes is that people who don't support freedom, it makes them nervous. So, but the question is, and where we were going is, I got to tell you, if some miracle happened and California became constitutional carry, I'd still carry concealed. I'd still have a CCW.
Right.
All right, I have a bit of correction. According to the NRA, it is 25.
Oh,
you were close.
Me and the NRA know.
The first article I looked at was dated March of 2022, so it looks like there may have been a 25th added after that date. The NRA is reflecting 25.
There you go.
And then Florida is supposed to be 26.
Right?
Correct.
Which is amazing. Florida, by the way, kicked off this whole CCW thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that said, "Hey, get a carry permit. It shall issue," and then boom. I mean, this is early, like back in the early '90s. They did this, so they're the kind of the OG of CCWs.
Which is good. Which is what is, and I think that's going to be, and especially as long as this lawlessness continues.
Well, so if California went constitutional carry, would you still get a CCW and carry concealed?
Absolutely.
Why would you do that?
Just because I need all the protection I can get.
But no. I mean, would you? So they would no longer would require a CCW.
Oh,
would you still get a CCW and would you still carry concealed, or would you not get a CCW, or would you not? Would you carry?
The
open?
only reason I wouldn't get a CCW is I don't want them to know what I've got.
Well, they're already going to know. It's registered.
Yeah.
Then why get a CCW?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
That's the question.
That's the question. Alicia, what would you do?
What would you do?
And what would you recommend people do
as an instructor?
Oh, that's
extraordinaire.
A heavy question. So you're saying in this.
So I bought my gun. I got my
imaginary
background
land in
check.
California.
I'm good to go. Do I need to go through a CCW?
No, would you? Would you recommend? Would you get a CCW?
I'm not a fan of open carry. So when it comes to constitutional carry, there's different facets
why are
of
you
it.
not a fan of open carry? You asking for trouble?
So in my opinion, there is that risk. Somebody who is trained, you can because the thought is that the open carry can be deterrent, which is possible. It also can be a magnet for someone who wants it, right? And unless you train and that you're going to train and train and train, and you're going to train and practice to stuff your draw on that retention, I think it's a liability to yourself. If you're going to carry and you're concealed, you can get that draw out just as fast if you practice it. So I don't see a downside to the conceal. I see a risk to the open.
Deterrent for somebody to come after you if they don't know.
Correct.
You have a concealed.
That's an interesting way of putting
Correct.
it, Alicia. You don't see a downside to concealed carry, but you do see a
risk.
To open carry. I think that's an extremely excellent way of putting it.
And I think
exactly how I feel.
And if you stop and think about it, because you get some guy drunk coming out and you're walking down the street and you've got a sidearm and it's exposed. You don't know.
Video after video, surveillance, just videos of people having their firearms taken away from them when they open carry.
Yeah.
You become a target.
Yeah. But what about a CCW?
You're concealed. So as long as you're doing your job and you're keeping it concealed.
But would you go through the? Would you recommend people go through the process?
Yeah, this is an instructor telling you, no, don't come to my class.
I would.
You tell them to come to the class?
It doesn't have to be my class. No.
But you tell them to go to
I
a
would.
class.
I would. Yep.
Well, because the training is what you're looking for.
So as far as it depends on where you go. So as far as just as it stands now, the CCW course, different instructors handle it differently. Some places it's just strictly law. Others will give you some instruction, how to carry, how to load, how to do all those things, how to holster. Others do not. That's not required. The requirement is the law. So as far as training goes, if you're gonna go into a CCW course expecting to learn how to shoot and learn how to draw and learn how to do all those things, you may or may not get that depending on where you go.
Depending on the instructor.
Right. The requirement is the law, is to teach the legal side of it.
What do you teach?
What can you do? Through discount, it's heavy on the law. So what can you do without getting in trouble? Where can you go? Where can you carry? Where can you not? If you need to store it and transport, or you need to go onto lands or places you can't carry, what do you do? All those legal things. If you get into an incident, how do you protect yourself? What do you legally say to protect yourself? After an incident, how do you keep your, first of all, you're told that you expect to get arrested, right? So just kind of preparing people for the legal and the practical side of it. I've
met so many people who want to get their CCW for the first time. I would say I've probably at this point, after 5-6 years or whatever, I've probably met thousands of people who want to get their CCW and they've never had a CCW before. And I can tell you that that I would recommend they all go through the CCW process, because it really takes it down to its most basic foundation, whether it's, simple gun safety that everybody knows, but then it starts getting into, hey, where can you carry? How do you carry? When can you pull from concealment? That kind of stuff is extremely important. Now, that is a separate question from, do I think it should be required? Which, I think that if it were constitutional carry, obviously it wouldn't be required.
Right.
So I would,
I would prudent though.
Exactly. I would still recommend, yes. Now, if you've been carrying for 10 years and you do a bunch of training or whatever, I don't know, I just pulled 10 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be 10 years, but you've been carrying for years and you had a bunch of instruction or whatever, seems like a waste of time for you to maintain a CCW. Doesn't really do anything. But if you're brand new to it, I got to tell you, it's a whole different skill set. I know guys that have been shooting guns for 30 years and they don't know diddly about carrying concealed, and it is a whole different skill set.
Ignorance to the law is not a defense. You get into an incident, you're going to be in trouble, and you can't claim you didn't know. It doesn't work that way.
You can try.
2 minutes.
So, but anyway, I'm extremely proud that half the nation is constitutional carry. I think it sends a huge message, and it puts the responsibility back on the person, and in the country of the self-governed, which is who we are. That's where the responsibility should be. We are not children.
I agree.
Most of us.
I had to think twice.
Dave, I know it's chewing you up. I looked up Hemmerling on his LinkedIn. According to that, he's just back to his law practice.
He's a lawyer too?
Yeah,
God, I got to use
it.
That's interesting.
I just have to figure out what kind of crime I need to get into.
He was a prosecutor, basically.
Lawyer.
It's
even scarier.
Well, that's why he was such a good liar. That's why that's why he fooled so many people.
Yeah.
Because he's a trained liar.
Yeah. I totally agree.
So.
But you did catch him. Huh? What?
I had one of his colleagues.
I don't think he expected you to say what you said.
I don't think so either. And I got to tell you, through back channels, I prepared him. I told people who knew him, hey, I got to tell you, we're going to go hard on him with this whole, and he's still.
He's a lawyer.
I had a colleague of his reach out to me and tell me that they could not believe. He said he could not believe that as a prosecutor he got beat up so hard. So hard.
Yeah, I never knew he was a lawyer. That makes it even crazier. Hey, Inland Empire gun owners strive to be the ounce of prevention in the fight for your legal gun rights. How do they do it? They do it by fundraising and getting local pro-gun candidates elected. Become a member today. Go to iegunowners.com/join and join the growing number of responsible gun owners stepping up to defend our Second Amendment right. That's iegunowners.com/join.
So we got who do we call him? Action Jackson. We got Sam the Gunman. You there?
Yeah. How are you guys?
Good, man. You were so darn interesting last week. We just we wanted you to call in and hang out with us until it's time to ask you a trivia question.
All right. Well, hope I can help.
Well, I hope you can help too. So, did you see? We were just talking, Sam. Did you see the decision out of New York against their red flag laws, their gun violence restraining orders?
When did that come out?
It came out last week. I want to say Wednesday, Thursday. I didn't prepare you at all. I'm totally springing this on you. But did you just happen to catch it at all?
No, I have not seen that yet.
It was pretty amazing.
I saw that there was something about it, but I didn't see what it was.
Then they're starting to this judge wrote an amazing decision. We talked about it just a little bit in the last segment, but the decision in essence was that the gun violence restraining orders, which is the only one of the things I was talking about, and maybe you can either confirm or correct me, but gun violence restraining orders is really the only type of red flag law I have seen. Have you seen any other variant that they call a red flag law?
I have not seen any other variant, and it's interesting that you bring this up because red flag laws in the form of gun violence restraining orders, that is one of the few types of state gun control laws that we have in Virginia that we share with you in California. I think the verbiage is a little bit different, but that took effect in the Commonwealth of Virginia on, I believe, July 1st, 2020.
Lucky you
so
guys.
We have those as well.
So, and that's what they do. These think tanks and all sides do it. Every, left, right, center, up, down, you name the issue, whether it's, abortion or immigration or guns or taxes or whatever. Some think tank says, "Hey, this is the law that we think should pass next," and they draft it, and then they go to all 50 states and try to get it passed. So it's not a big shock that the only type of red flag law is a gun violence restraining order, and everybody's gun violence restraining orders are the same thing. They probably they tweak it a little bit here and there so that it, some of the nuance matches each state, but in essence, if they're passing a red flag law, they're passing gun violence restraining orders. If they're passing gun violence restraining orders, they look identical to what California has and New York has and now Virginia has, and I don't know how many other states. So the judge, go ahead.
This gets to something that I said in my very first blog post for the SDCGO blog, and that is that the states really do, in a practical sense, use each other as models for new legislation. The state governments pay a lot of attention to what the governments in other states are doing. They're not 50 isolated political systems.
Exactly. So, and I encourage people, if people, it's pretty rare that somebody says, "Hey, I don't want to be a member of San Diego County Gun Owners anymore." That's pretty rare. Most of the time when they do, it's because they moved. And I always tell people, "Hey, congratulations on your new life, wherever you're moving to and for whatever reason. But it's still a good idea to support, us here behind, you've moved on to free America. That's great. But, John still has a long mustache here in California. So you got to help us out. If you don't stop it here, it's going to spread to your state." And that's exactly what's happening with gun violence restraining orders. So the gun violence restraining order, the judge said that, it's totally unconstitutional. And he said, we were talking about in the last segment that, it's not a secondary right. Your right to keep and bear arms, that's your right to self-defense. And it's not, a gee golly gosh, you don't have to apologize for it. It's just like your freedom, of speech. It's just like the freedom of the press. It's just like religion. In fact, it's equal to. It's not better than. It's not worse than. It's equal to. And he talked about how, and I thought he did a really good job, Sam, of he compared it to, being institutionalized, and said, hey, if we're going to institutionalize somebody, if we're going to put somebody in a mental facility, then we're taking away their freedom, right? We're taking away their liberty, their freedom, their rights, and in order to do that, you have to have experts. You have to have medical experts that say, hey, yes, this person, is whatever, danger to themselves or others. And he drew that comparison to gun violence restraining orders, and how with gun violence restraining orders, you don't have to have an expert. Anybody, any old, whatever can make an accusation, and then they take guns, and then you get to go to court. And he said that is not right. That is not how this is supposed to go. And I thought that was a really, really brave and accurate decision for a judge to make, especially in New York. I'm extremely happy the way. I feel like this is where it's headed now. And I think in 5 to 10 years, we're not even going to remember what a gun violence restraining order was.
Well, I think that comparison with institutionalizing people is a very apt one. And one of the problems with the issue of gun violence restraining orders in politics, in the gun control debate, is that it's one of those things that looks really good on the surface. So people who don't really know a whole lot about the subject matter and just feel like they need to have an opinion, otherwise they're being irresponsible. Mm-hmm. And many people think that way. It looks like a good idea on the surface, taking away firearms from people who are deemed to be at significant risk of harming themselves or others. But the thing is, they violate due process. And there are many legal mechanisms for taking away firearms from people who are already dangerous that involves going through the proper court system and the proper procedures. But the fact of the matter is, gun violence restraining orders violate due process. You are not there are so many legal principles in our legal system that they break.
Well, it annoys me that we aren't more vocal when the anti-gun side says, geez, you guys won't even compromise. We've done nothing but compromise. We've done nothing but compromise.
Since 1934.
Since 1934, that's all we do is compromise. It seems like, we've started to stand in the way of some things, but even a gun ban in what was that? 1994 was the federal assault weapons ban. Was it 1994 or 92? It was
94 to 04.
94 to 04. We didn't even stand in the way of that. We just said, okay, gee golly gosh, if you're going to do it, let's just make sure it sunsets in 2004. And that was supposed to be a victory. The fact that it didn't, that we didn't strike it down, we just let it sunset, was this major victory. I remember when George Bush was elected in 2000, and everybody, pulled up their shorts and said, the NRA is going to set up an office in the White House. We have a former governor from the state of Texas, man. Gun rights are going to. Nothing happened. Nothing good happened in from 2000 to 2008 under Bush. We had all kinds of opportunity. Nothing happened. But it's just these gun violence restraining orders, the due process. I think it's crucial. I think it's absolutely crucial. I think this is the stand that we make, and it's not because we don't want to compromise. It's because they've gone over the line of reasonable, and when you've gone over the line of reasonable, there's no more compromise to be made.
Hey, a lot of companies are very unhappy with their website. It looks old, it's out of date, and it's just not getting customers. The Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop by being frustrated by your website and get one that you're proud to share. Contact Sage Tree today to get that website that makes the phones ring. Get started easy at 866-728-9100, 866-728-9100. You can fix your website today and stop being frustrated.
I want to stop being frustrated. Dave?
You and me both, brother.
Hey, so we were talking, Sam, off the air, or not off the air. We were talking a couple segments ago about how there are 25 constitutional carry states, and it looks like Florida is going to be the 26th, which is amazing. I don't know. I can't tell if it's surprising or not. They've just had such a successful CCW program that it's surprising. I think that constitutional carry in Florida is almost it's almost more of a statement they're making, a political statement that they're making about the Second Amendment than it is an administrative thing. I think I think they're probably, their CCW program pays for itself. I don't think they're losing money on it. They're probably not making money on it. You know what I mean? I think it's more of a Florida just saying, hey, look, Second Amendment's important.
I think they're looking at the Constitution and just saying this is what we need to do.
Yeah, which I'm certainly not opposed.
No, but I'm just saying all the other states are going here, there, and everywhere. And Florida is basically saying, well, why don't we just stick to the –
yeah,
and let's talk about it. What do you think, Sam?
Well, I think even beyond the constitutional argument, and of course, when making new laws or policies in the United States, we have to look at the Constitution of the United States and of that particular state. But beyond that, there's a very practical argument in favor of constitutional carry, and that is plain and simple. If someone is carrying concealed and they're doing it correctly, there is no way for you to be able to tell, first of all, whether or not that person has a gun on them, and second, whether or not that person has a permit. And while, yes, we do want everyone who carries a firearm in public to be sane, trained, law-abiding citizens, the fact of the matter is that not having the piece of paper in your wallet is not stopping criminals from breaking the law and carrying concealed in public.
That's another. You've touched on something too that went a little even further. I was saying that we're the country of the self-governed, right? Which means that we shouldn't have to ask permission to exercise our rights. Which, in essence, most CCW, especially in California, especially before they got rid of good cause, that's what you were doing. You're asking permission to exercise your right. But the reality is this. If you can't have it both ways. If you are going to carry, whether concealed or open, and you mess up, there are huge consequences. And I got to tell you, if you really, really mess up, if you really, do something that costs somebody their life, I don't feel sorry for you if you didn't get training and that's why you messed up. You know what I mean? And you didn't keep up your knowledge of the laws, your proficiency. John Correa from Active Self Protection, who I love. Do you like John? Right?
I like John. I've worked with John.
That's right. He's your on your profile picture, right?
For a while, he was. Yeah.
He was. So John Correa is the best. He's awesome, and he just posted a video, and there were some kids skateboarding. Did you see this one?
Yes, I did.
Kids skateboarding. Guy didn't like that they were skateboarding. They shouldn't have been skateboarding. Whatever.
Get off my lawn.
Kind of. And he pulls a gun. He brandishes. I don't remember if he didn't actually point them at the he didn't point the gun.
No, I don't believe he did.
But he brandished.
Yeah.
And the kids were like, all right, we're out of here. They didn't I don't know if they were breaking the law or not, but they certainly weren't threatening him, and he certainly didn't have
the right to do that.
It should not have, pulled a gun on these kids. That's ridiculous. And further, this guy was interviewed on the news later and was bragging about it. Oh yeah, well here's what I did. I mean, I say bragging. That's subjective.
He was.
You think he was bragging?
Yeah.
He was definitely throwing.
He was very proud.
He was throwing himself right under the bus, and just like, hey, that's what I did. He had no idea. He's about to lose his gun rights. He's about to probably, he's going to become a felon.
He probably never had any CC training.
It certainly didn't have enough. Or one of two things: he didn't have enough training, or he just threw it into the wind and said, "I'm just going to do this thing," which was either way, it's stupid.
That's the downside to constitutional carry, is it gives open open permission, and people, if they're not forced or told they need training
Right.
or told they have to, a lot of people won't, and
Well,
they're not going to know.
The way they present it, the way it was presented in the news about Florida, I swear it made it sound like you didn't need nothing.
Well, you don't.
You don't.
Well,
But if you were to get into an
layman
incident,
hears you don't need nothing,
mm-hmm.
then a layman,
Right.
if he can get a gun
Yeah.
someplace
Yeah.
without going through,
you get into an incident though,
Well, but see,
that nothing
but I'm just
doesn't
saying,
help you.
the way
It sounds like any criminal can.
but it's the way it's
Yeah.
presented.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
said it right then and there. You don't need to do anything.
Right. Well, you still have to not be a criminal.
Yeah, but it.
You still have to follow
but
the
you know
laws.
but you see where I'm
Right.
saying?
But I don't know if I'd phrase it necessarily. It puts the responsibility back on the gun owners,
Mhm.
but that goes both ways. You now
Well,
have
let me,
Go
let me interrupt
Yeah.
and make a point of clarification here. You already and listen very carefully to all of what I'm about to say, because there's a punchline here. No matter what state you are in, or even no matter what country you're in, you can already carry a gun concealed without a permit. The difference is in some places it's not legal to do it. So repealing concealed carry laws and implementing constitutional carry is not making it physically any easier for people to carry guns in public. All it's doing is basically codifying what is already reality into law. The not having the piece of paper is not stopping criminals from tucking a stolen revolver into their waistband and going to rob a 7-Eleven. And, as I said, not having a concealed carry permit does not make it impossible to carry illegally. It just makes it illegal.
So it's removing the criminal. It's removing the criminality from non-career criminals of being able to carry a firearm
By getting
AKA
a
defending
CCW.
themselves by not requiring a CCW. You're removing the criminality of a non-career criminal who's trying to defend themselves.
Pretty much, yeah.
The removing the criminal consequences, which
So ask Sam the question that you asked earlier.
So the question that we were kind of batting around a little bit. Let's say that you're in Virginia. Let's say that the state of Virginia went constitutional carry. They're not currently, right?
Correct. They are not currently.
Okay, so let's say they went constitutional carry. So it's no longer required for you to get a CCW in order to carry concealed. You can legally own the gun. You can carry it concealed or open in theory.
Virginia is an open carry state. The thing is, it shall issue concealed carry,
Yep.
but you can open carry without a permit.
Okay, so here's my question. If they were constitutional carry, would you it's like 4 questions. Would you get a CCW still? Would you recommend people get a CCW? Would you open carry, or would you still carry concealed? And would you recommend people open carry, or would you recommend they carry concealed?
The answers to all 4 of those questions are very simple, and they are that I would not recommend anything different from what I already do. I already say definitely get the concealed handgun permit, because even if you can legally carry without it, it does a couple of good things for you. First of all, it's recognized in some states that are not constitutional carry.
Good point.
And I think there's 1 or 2 states out there, I believe it's one of the Dakotas or Montana or something, where it's constitutional for citizens of that state, residents of that state, but you need a permit if you're out of state. So it gives you an extra layer of legal protection, even if you're in a constitutional carry state. And if you do get into an incident, then conceivably you could bring that up in court as proof that you are sane, trained, and law-abiding. Second, in Virginia specifically, it allows us to buy more than 1 handgun within a 30-day period. We have that special state-level thing. So that's useful. And as for open carry versus concealed, I always caution people away from open carry.
Why?
Because it makes you conspicuous to people who are not gun people, and you can be an intimidating presence. You can scare people, and people will treat you differently if they see a gun on your hip. And if something does happen, then you are now broadcasting exactly what your threat level is to that criminal. You're making yourself the first target.
That was
not a good idea.
That was Alicia's point, and I really truly think that is the absolute best point. I'm not saying open carry should be illegal, so stop typing your email to Gun Owners Radio.
Your phone's
and whatever.
smoking.
I know. I'm not saying it should be illegal. I'm not against open carry. Everyone just we're having an intelligent discussion here.
Chill.
What I'm saying is, I would never choose to open carry. I would never choose to broadcast my threat level, as Sam eloquently put. I would much rather. I don't want to be their first target. I'm already a big, extremely good-looking guy, so I already know that their eye will be drawn to me first off. So I don't want to complicate that by them going, not only is he handsome, but he's dangerous.
That's right.
So I'd rather carry concealed. I think that
you don't need that sparkle in their eye.
It's tough, Dave. It's
I-
my struggle.
That's why you drive a Jeep. It doesn't.
I
run.
drive a Jeep because I'm sassy. Okay? That's why I drive a Jeep.
Okay, you just ruined it. Hey, your doorbell just went on.
I don't know what that was.
I think. Let's see, Lower Brushman.
But I think that's extremely intelligent. I think people. I think that concealed carry generally is better. I'm not saying that we should outlaw.
Well, it's
open
just
carry.
like I was saying when they interviewed somebody from Florida. Why are you, for this program? And he said because that way, if I go into a room or a building or a business, nobody knows who's carrying and nobody knows who's not carrying, and the people that are planning on doing a bad deed will think that same thing and think twice before they, do something that could get them in trouble.
Sure, and I know guys with nice watches that won't wear them in certain, when they go to certain places. I know women with beautiful jewelry that won't wear it when they go to certain places. Now you have what, $600 or $1,000 or $1,500 lethal weapon on your hip. I really don't want people to know that about me. There's a lot, what you brought up earlier. Hey, I don't want to get a CCW because I don't want the government to know. What I have or whatever, that whole, people, I don't want people to know whatever. I don't want them. Okay. I really don't want them to know that I'm carrying. I really don't want that to happen. So, anyway.
Is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attacker that's 100 pounds bigger? That's why it's so important, women, to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented. For women, led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. To sign up, go to notmesd.org. The program is also available in Orange County and the Inland Empire. Get help today at notmesd.org. And hey, wait, I heard we have a winner.
What?
What winner?
We do. So we actually have a prize winner for joining the email newsletter for gunownersradio.com/subscribe. We do have a winner for the Gun Owner Radio prize package, and that's Adam Earls.
Congratulations, Adam. Your surprise is in the mail.
I just heard from one of the winners or one of the donators for the Christmas party. We gave away 3 guns that night.
Oh yeah, and a bottle of tequila
and a couple of bottles. We gave some. It was like
just seen. I had this rifle.
I saw it.
Oh,
later.
She was there.
Oh, that's right. I was there too.
David.
Did I see you?
David.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
Old.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Mike.
We had pictures together.
That's right. I never got to see those.
All right.
And the tequila bottle, that was the third thing that somebody picked. How cool is that?
We should have gotten, we should have had like a couple of boxes of stogies, and it would have been ATF night, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
There was a time, but even in the car business, when we go to car press events, that after dinner and we go, everybody always goes to the bar afterwards, and they would have just boxes and boxes and boxes of stogies.
Of cigars?
Yeah, good cigars.
Yeah, not anymore, huh? Now what do they give you? Like they give you little boxes of kale to chew on?
Little boxes of kale?
Yeah.
They don't even do that.
They don't even do that, huh?
I remember wearing that shirt there.
It was a good time.
It was not that long ago, Dave.
I love that shirt. I got more compliments on that.
Congratulations to the winners.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I want to congratulate and thank.
Do you smoke cigars?
I have in the past.
Okay.
But I want to congratulate the winners, and I want to thank the donors. But I'm not sure if they want me to give their names over the air.
Probably not.
So I'm just going to say thank you
Thanks,
so
donors.
much. You guys are awesome.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Winners, congratulations to you as well.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. We're actually going to have I think we're going to have look for an online auction. I think we're going to do an online auction for some firearms in February.
Is that legal?
Yeah, yeah. We did it a couple years ago, and it went over really, really well. We did it right in the middle of COVID, and that actually went over really, really well because guns were hard to find, number one. And number two, it was, it's hard. People didn't have a lot to do. But we're gonna do it again in February, so keep an eye out for that, and it should be a really, really good time. But yeah, I made a mistake. I hadn't had a cigar in a long time, and a couple years ago for my birthday, I went to one of those places in Claremont, one of the cigar lounges in Claremont.
Yeah, you went to Excalibur.
I think yes, and I think I hadn't had a cigar in a long time.
And you fell over.
And I went in, and the guy was like, "Well, what do you want?" And I was like, "Man, I want something meaty. I want like a
so sick.
Oh my God, I want like a steak of a cigar. I want the best, biggest, baddest, whatever." And he goes, "All right, well, I got this one. It's called the Slaughterhouse." He said, "It sounds exactly like what you want, the Slaughterhouse." And it'd been a long time. It'd been a long time, Dave. Alicia's laughing. I think I told you this story.
Have you ever noticed when you get something in your head, it usually ends up not all that good?
Me?
You've done some pretty crazy stuff, like, I really wanted to buy this, or I really wanted to do this.
Oh, yeah. No, I get all wrapped up.
I know you do. And you won't change your mind. So we dove into the Slaughterhouse.
Sort of Slaughterhouse.
Inhaled
It
heavily.
was delicious. It was so good. It was everything I wanted it to be. And I sucked that thing down. And oh my God. I got about 3/4 of the way through this thing. And it was probably about 2.5 feet long. It was enormous. And it was, and I was, oh my gosh. And I turned about 50 shades of green and got so sick. And I'm sitting there with friends, and I'm like, you got to hold it together, man. Yeah. You've got to hold it together.
You can't be hurling across the room.
So I ended up going into the back. They had this private bathroom that I know about, and other people have been
for
to private
people that smoke Slaughterhouse.
And I thought I was gonna die.
Turned it inside out.
Oh my God! So I went back out and was drenched in sweat, and was totally playing this thing off. Like, yeah, all right, well, listen, we're gonna wrap it up now.
To get another one of those.
Ooh, what is it? 7:45? Boy, I didn't realize the time. I got it. So I don't think I've had one since. But it was not good. I used to smoke cigars fairly often, I suppose. But I don't know. There are guys that suck those things down.
Oh, I know.
I had a cigar with your grandfather.
Which one?
A million years ago. The pilot, your dad's dad. He was and your dad. Your dad and your dad's dad turned me on to cigars when I was
12.
Yeah, I think I was a little. I think it was like 1920. 20, 21, something like that. Your old man and your dad both. Like your old man, I think it was your grandfather. It was either your dad or your grandfather. I don't remember which, but I have a fairly vivid memory of him mowing the lawn while smoking a cigar in the Florida heat, just sucking that thing down. I'm like, oh my God.
Now, I used to carry a cigar in my mouth the whole time I was in the Army.
Yeah,
but I never lit it.
I was gonna say, yeah, it wasn't lit.
In the Army, the flavor. No, it wasn't that either. Because back in the Army, they say, all right, let's take a break, smoke if you got them. Come on, Stahl, smoke. Well, I don't like to smoke. Come on, you big sissy, smoke. Come on, have a cigarette. And I said, I just can't do it. So the guy said, well, try chewing tobacco. I said, all right, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Big old wad of beech nut, put it in there, but nobody told me you don't chew it like gum.
Oh.
So I'm chomping away, and I get all this liquid in my mouth. I go, well, I don't. And I swallowed it.
Didn't go over well.
Passed out.
Oh, you passed out?
And if the guy hadn't reached in and pulled that wad out, I probably wouldn't be here today. So then they still wouldn't leave me alone. So I started carrying a cigar. I'd stick it in my mouth, and I'd never take it out. And I never lit it.
I've chomped on it. I don't know. You still kind of get that flavor.
I didn't even like the flavor.
No,
I just didn't like being harassed.
Are you a cigar guy, Sam?
I am not a cigar guy. I have a good friend of mine is in the Marine Corps, and he's a cigar guy, but they don't let him bring the cigar anywhere near his place of work because he works in base motors where they've got gasoline all over the place. So that doesn't work.
Does your old man still? Does he still like the occasional cigar?
Not as far as I'm aware, but he still has his cigar
secret.
boxes. He still has his humidor.
He still has a humidor? Yeah, he was an
Alisha, do you smoke
aficionado.
cigars?
Nope.
You ever tried it?
Nope.
You just remind me of a girl that would.
I know, right?
Doesn't she kind of remind you of a
She
girl?
kind of
that would?
does.
The day's young.
And by the way, and that is a compliment.
That is. No, that's absolutely, one of the guys.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
You know?
I've known girls, Well, you know who does? Kelly.
oh really? Happy birthday!
She's probably toking on one as we speak.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I should. Maybe that's what we should do.
Get her humidor.
We should get her. We should get like Gun Owners Radio brand cigars.
Oh.
How cool would that be?
How about slaughterhouses?
The
We could brand them.
slaughterhouse.
Yeah, slaughter. You also come up with the craziest names and stuff that you get into.
Well, you're gonna just go big or go home.
Well,
man.
no, yeah.
These are just the stories I can tell on the radio.
And the ones you can remember. There is something to be said for that too. But yeah, I just never could. I just couldn't get into smoking. I just couldn't do it. And the tobacco was absolutely the worst thing I've ever had in my whole life. You ever do tobacco?
Well,
Come on.
I think when I
Did
was
you, Alisha?
No.
when I was like 12, Michelle Solagic, we found some cigarettes, and
Hey.
she and I went out in the woods and I tried smoking. Michelle, if you're out there, I hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing well. I hope you found a better quality of person to hang out with. Poor Michelle.
Poor Michelle. She's probably still out in the woods.
Right out in the woods. Yeah.
Green.
I hope whoever you're out in the woods smoking a cigarette with is a far better man than I.
Yes.
You deserve it.
Because you didn't do well there either.
I don't miss Florida. I don't.
I don't think so. Oh, my Lord.
Anyway.
I don't
Well,
know.
Dave, I want to tell you, we're about to go to break here, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to ask
gonna
Sam
stump
this
him.
question. We're going to stump him. We're going
Start
to
the year off right.
That's right. We're going to talk about your blog. You have a blog to talk about, don't you, Sam?
I do, yes.
Okay,
every
we're going
week.
to talk about your blog. We're going to try to stump you. But Dave, I just wanted to I wanted to say Happy New Year to you, and I wanted to say thank you. You've been, what are we on, like year 5 or 6 of this show?
I don't know. Well, wait. Hold it.
Do they
Thanks to
still
Rich.
count?
Yeah. Episode 334.
Episode 334.
So 334 divided by
12.
52, not 12.
52.
52. How many weeks are there?
That's
in a
too
year?
many. That's too many numbers.
How many?
for me.
3 what?
That's too many numbers for me.
334.
34 divided.
That's 6.5 years, guys. I'll close to 6.5.
6.42.
6.42.
Right,
I just wanted to say
Seems like yesterday.
it does, but I just wanted to say thanks, man.
Well, hey, it's the best show out of all 6 shows that I do. I have more fun on this show. In the beginning, I used to get irritated because we'd end up, talking to Hammerling and everything. It would just drive me crazy. But I think we do so much good for the public, and we have fun.
Yeah, well,
And Alicia's been a really great addition to the show.
agreed, but I wanted to say thank you for all that you've done, man.
Oh, my pleasure. And I'm happy to help
this is
you out
your-
as well.
This is your baby. It's your show. You've done a great job, and I just wanted to
I
say
couldn't
thank
do it
you.
without you. Are you kidding?
And I wanted to say Happy New Year, and I'm looking forward to
Happy New Year to you, too. And bring back the mic drops.
6.5 more.
And bring back the mic drops.
All right, who's been Rich has been on me about
Bugging you?
the-
They're good. Have
It
you
is-
ever heard them?
in his rich
Yeah.
way.
I think they're awesome. A self-defense event happens in and in the takes to listen to this commercial, your life could change forever. I pray you're never forced to shoot in self-defense, but if you must, then you must be ready. That's why the USCCA exists, because every responsibly armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more than the USCCA, visit uscca.com/GOR. Act now, because the life you save could be your own. uscca.com/GOR. Real quick question. If you did, got the carry,
If I got the carry,
and you went ahead but you didn't get a CCW,
yeah,
would USCCA still take you on?
yeah. You don't have to. Yes, you don't have to have a CCW.
Ah, very good.
You just have to. You got to be following the law.
No. I know.
You know,
I'm just saying
so-
if that might have been a requirement for USCCA.
No, Good question though.
I thought you liked that.
USCCA is really taking
You
off.
get into a fist fight and they'll back you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you know,
I know.
I'm
Well, I'll take
registered deadly weapons.
you. I'll take you. Yeah, you got it all together.
That's what I get.
You'd have to eat first.
What do you mean I have to eat first?
Well, because you're always hungry.
I am always hungry.
I know.
I'm a growing boy. Okay, what are we doing?
Sam the
right?
man.
Sam the gun man. Okay, first off, what do we do? You want to do question first? Let's do question first.
That's 2 questions.
Okay, so it's time for everybody's favorite segment. Sam the Gunman is my nephew, and we found out years ago that he's super, super good at gun trivia.
Yes, he is.
So if you write in and send us a message, you send us a question, and we use it on the air, we'll send you a hat or a shirt. And if we stump my nephew, if you stump him, we'll give you a super special prize. Hey, somebody called in. If you're still listening, somebody called in earlier and said, "Hey, you haven't sent me my hat and shirt yet." Email me at Michael at SDCGO.org and just remind me and tell me where you want. Tell me what size you want. Tell me what you want. You want a hat or a shirt? Tell me what size you want, and tell me where to mail it. And we'll get you the merch. Okay.
And since you messed it up, you should say, "Tell me where we can meet, and I'll buy you lunch."
I do that too. You know what? You want lunch? We'll go do that. Since
only because you lagged.
We lagged, so
You're an honest guy.
happy to do that. I don't remember who the winner is, but if you're still listening, email me and let me know if you want to have lunch. I'll be happy to do that.
So if you get
Thrilled.
47 emails,
I know.
I heard Brendan talking to him on the phone.
Did he?
He reached him.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Fire away. What's the question?
So today's question we have it's Mike from Point Loma, and the question is: what 4-inch barrel gun replaced the Beretta as the Air Force's security police standard issued firearm?
Oh, let me see. I think I know this one. I think
it
might
wasn't
be,
what I thought.
I think I might be Mike
it'd
from
be
Point
the
Loma.
only
by the way.
one you knew.
All right, go ahead. All right, did you get the question?
Yeah, who wrote this in?
Mike from Point Loma. What 4-inch barrel gun
Loma.
replaced the Beretta as the Air Force's security police standard issue firearm? Yeah.
Thanks for writing in. Now, there are 2 possible answers to this. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but let me give a little bit of background.
That's why it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's why it's interesting. Okay.
No, I didn't mean. Go ahead.
On January 19th, 2017, the U.S. Army officially selected the M17 and M18 modular handgun system to replace all the other handguns that were in military service. The Army opted for the M17, which has like a 4.7-inch barrel, I think. And the other services all opted for the M18, which has about a 3.8-inch or 4-inch barrel, including the Air Force. Now, what I'm not sure of, so in current service in all the branches of the U.S. military, at least on paper, they're supposed to have either the M17 or the M18.
No. I think you heard the question wrong. What did the Beretta replace? What were they using before the Beretta?
Yes, I misheard.
No,
yes.
so let me read it one more time. Let me read it one more time, buddy. What 4-inch barrel gun replaced the Beretta? You know what? It's written wrong. What did the Beretta replace? What 4-inch barrel gun did the Beretta replace as the Air Force's security police standard issue? So what was the Air Force's security police standard issue gun before the Beretta? It's a 4-inch barrel gun. What did they use before the Beretta?
You're sure that's what the question is asking?
I am absolutely 100% positive.
Okay. Before the M9 was adopted, before the Beretta 92F was adopted as the M9, the Air Force did not use the M1911A1 as its standard issue like the other services did because it didn't have enough of them. It had 1911s in inventory, but the security forces used the M15, which is a Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver, civilian designation model 15.
See, it's a good thing you reread the question.
That's exactly right. I don't know how you knew that, but that's why I thought. So that's why it was interesting. I had no idea before. I would never have guessed that before the Beretta
Revolver.
Yeah, that they used a revolver. I would have thought that they were using the 1911, but their security or Air Force security police.
So what happened to all of those weapons that the military discarded for the newer for a different weapon.
Sam? Shmuley?
Well, I don't know how many of them were surplus versus how many were just discarded and basically thrown in a wood chipper. I cannot answer that.
But
can you buy surplus weapons?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Do they have to
You
go
can.
through an FLA
FFL?
or an FFL?
Yeah, they come through the civilian marksmanship program generally, and they have to go through an FFL because they're still firearms.
Are you familiar with the CMP?
Me?
Dave?
No.
Civilian marksmanship.
Oh,
civilian
yeah.
marksmanship program. So you can get Garands, you can get M1 carbines, you can get 1911s. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's
right.
Garand.
Garand.
Actually, it's pronounced Garand. So I've been told.
All
right. Before it gets too late, before we run out of time, talk about your blog. What is the latest blog that
you're
wrote?
blogging?
My most recent blog post that went up this past Monday was titled "There is no substitute for practice," or "There's no substitute for training." I forget which. And basically, my point is that as much fun as it is to sit around and talk about guns in the history and the mechanics and all that stuff, and as much as we gun people enjoy arguing about, oh, well, my thus and such is better than your whatever at this specific set of in this specific set of circumstances, really where the rubber meets the road is whether you can actually hit your target. And no amount of money spent on the hottest new gear and gadgets will make you a better shot. It might make your rounds land closer to where you want them to, but accuracy comes from the shooter.
That's awesome. In fact, we were just talking about that very thing. In fact, it goes hand in hand. I think you even brought it up when we were talking about, hey, would you, if you were in a constitutional carry state, would you still recommend people get a CCW? And that's one of the reasons that I think people would probably still opt to at least go through the program of getting a CCW, so they could at least take the training. At the very least, be responsible enough to take the training. I think you're absolutely right. It's an enormous responsibility. What was the catalyst? What made you write that?
I don't know. I was just, I don't know what brought that on. I was just thinking about that. And, of course, as I said, when gun people are not at the range and can't get to the range, they like to sit around and argue. And they argue until the cows come home about the finer points of what gun or what accessory is better than what other thing, just so that they can feel better about their own purchase. But as the saying goes, fear the man with one gun, for he knows how to use it. And at the end of the day, what really matters is how well you can use the stuff you have, and how well you can use, if you do get into a situation where you have to use some other firearm, how well you can use that. And I'm not pretending I'm some kind of expert shot. Clearly I'm not. But no one...
I don't think that's clear.
I know. I was going to say, I don't know.
I saw you at front sight. You're good.
I'm all right. I'm maybe a little better than the average person, but I'm by no means competition grade. But my point is that regardless of who we are and what our level of proficiency is, we all need practice. And there's no substitute for that. You can't buying a new gun will not make you a better shooter. So if you're not hitting the target, as long as the gun is working fine and it doesn't have any issues like, a defective barrel or whatever, then buying a new one will not fix your problem. If your problem is coming from you can't buy your way out of that unless you're buying ammo or training.
Excellent point. I can't wait to read it. I haven't read it yet. Where do people find your blogs?
San Diego County Gun
2 minutes.
.com/blog.
/blog. Dave, did you show your grandpa how to find your blogs? He was asking.
No, I don't.
Next time you're over there, show him how to find your blogs on the internet, please.
I will. And I have another one going up tomorrow. They go up every Monday, so everyone look out for that.
Excellent.
All right, buddy.
Happy New Year. Great job.
New
Thank
Year.
you so much for everything you do, my friend.
Yep, you're the best.
Happy New Year. Everyone have a good night.
You started the year off right.